Houston was never supposed to exist. A swampy, flood-prone coastal plain. No natural harbor. 50 miles from the Gulf. Every rule of geography said don't build a city here. But in 1836, two brothers saw what others couldn't, opportunity hiding inside obstacles. Using AI to reconstruct historical photographs and lithographs, we're about to watch Houston rise, from a muddy frontier outpost into the oil capital of the world. And if you enjoy seeing history come alive, subscribe. Because this is the story of how Houston conquered geography, economics, and eventually, itself. 1 year after the Civil War, Main Street tells the truth. Brick buildings with elegant arched windows strain to look refined. But the illusion collapses fast. Unpaved streets, wooden sidewalks, and a lone cow wandering freely through town. This is still a frontier city. Merchants, cotton factors, and traders are back at work, picking up where the war left off. Houston survived the conflict largely untouched. Union forces never pushed this far inland. Now, the city is ready to cash in on its good fortune. Texas cotton must move, and Houston sits perfectly between the plantations and the coast. From above, Houston spreads across the prairie in a clean, confident grid. But look closer. Those rail lines slicing through the city aren't just transportation, they're destiny forged in iron. Houston positions itself as the railroad crossroads of Texas, tracks radiating outward like spokes on a wheel. Buffalo Bayou still winds along the city's edge, the waterway that gave Houston life in 1836, but the railroads now control its future. Warehouses hug the tracks. Lumber yards rise. Cotton bales stack sky high. Houston is becoming rich by moving everyone else's goods. This grid wasn't accidental. The founders planned for infinite growth across the flat coastal plain, and the city is filling it fast. At White Oak Bayou, steamboats dock beside a towering railroad bridge. This single scene captures Houston's transportation revolution. Houston doesn't choose between water and rail. It masters both. Cargo arrives from Galveston and the Gulf by boat, then races inland by train. That bridge isn't just crossing water, it's connecting Houston to every corner of Texas. Warehouses overflow with cotton, lumber, and manufactured goods. Houston's gamble on being the ultimate middleman is paying off. By the 1890s, electric streetcars glide down Main Street past 2- and 3-story commercial blocks. Overhead wires hum with cutting-edge technology. Pedestrians crowd the sidewalks, moving between banks, dry goods stores, saloons, and offices. The buildings may look modest by modern standards, but they're solid, built to last, built for business. Houston's population hits 27,000, expanding outward along the streetcar lines into what was once open prairie. Then comes grandeur. A domed building rises, ornate, confident, unmistakably ambitious. Automobiles mix with horse-drawn carriages. Old and new coexist. Oil money is beginning to seep into the city. Houston wants the world to know it belongs among America's great cities, and it's building like it. Back at Allen's Landing, where Houston was born, industry now roars. Concrete bridges span Buffalo Bayou. Smokestacks pierce the skyline. Warehouses, factories, shipping offices, and cotton compresses line the banks. Ships arrive from Galveston. Trains roll in from inland Texas. Water, rail, commerce, exactly as promised in 1836. Then everything changes. On January 10, 1901, at Spindletop, 90 miles away, oil erupts 150 feet into the air. For 9 straight days, the greatest oil discovery in American history. Derricks spread across the landscape like a steel forest. Spindletop produces more oil in a single day than the rest of the world combined. And Houston, perfectly positioned between the oil fields and the coast, becomes the industry's command center. Fortunes are made overnight. The Cotton City is reborn as the oil capital of the world. Cotton still dominates the rail yards, bales stacked endlessly, compresses working non-stop. Every bale represents land, labor, and wealth. King Cotton still rules. But now, oil sits beside him on the throne. By the time Houston unveils its new city hall, there's no humility left. Towering arches, heavy stonework, Victorian excess, this is a city announcing its arrival. Population, 78,000 and climbing. Houston isn't replacing its past. It's stacking oil money on top of it. But growth brings conflict. In August 1917, black soldiers of the 24th Infantry, stationed near Houston during World War I, snap under months of racial abuse, police brutality, and Jim Crow humiliation. Armed and angry, more than 100 soldiers march into the city. The riot leaves 15 white civilians and 4 soldiers dead. What follows is the largest murder trial in U.S. history to that point. 19 soldiers are executed, dozens more sentenced to life. Houston's expansion brought opportunity, and deep, unresolved injustice. By the 1910s, Main Street rises skyward. Steel and concrete replace wood. Automobiles replace horses. Oil companies cut deals inside modern office towers. The Houston Ship Channel opens in 1914, giving the city direct access to the Gulf. Refineries line its banks. Houston no longer just moves oil. It refines it, stores it, profits from every drop. The frontier town is gone. Then the water returns. Days of relentless rain overwhelm Buffalo Bayou and Brays Bayou. 25 blocks of downtown disappear under muddy floodwater, up to 8 feet deep. Office towers and department stores sit half submerged. 8 dead, thousands displaced, millions in damage. Houston has conquered cotton. It has conquered oil. But it still hasn't conquered its geography. Flat land, swamps, bayous with nowhere to drain. This disaster forces a reckoning. Within months, Houston creates the Harris County Flood Control District, committing to engineer its way out of nature's grip. Straightening bayous, building detention basins, fighting water with concrete and steel. Because Houston was never supposed to exist. And it will never stop fighting to prove that it deserves to.